Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Why Gaming back again with some more Survive the Nights. And today what we're going to be doing is going over the patch notes and quality of life update number 2 for Alpha 1.10. There's a lot of stuff here. Tutorial improvements, swimming, chat overhaul, and a load of polishes. This is beautiful. I love it. It's a long old ladder, so sit tight, buckle up, we're going to go into it, and then on Monday, what we're going to do at the usual time of 7 PM is go on a full in-depth playthrough, have a look at all of these features. As you can see in the background, there's going to be some of these features popping up and popping in. Quite excited. It's going to be good. Stick around, subscribe to the channel if you're a fan of Survive the Nights and all things survival and zombies, because that is what we do here at Why Gaming. And if you like the video, fondle that like button, give the like and the subscribe button a nice little fondle. I would greatly appreciate it. Now let's jump in. We're going to be releasing our version 1.10 update directly to the stable branch. So that was released late last night. I think it was about 7:30, 8 o'clock. I had missed it. By the time I come off the computer, that was when I'd realised that it was going up. I was streaming at the time, so I was like, yeah. Unfortunately, I would have got it out sooner, but it's a shame. It's a shame. Anywho, so 1.10, we want to get it tested by as many people as possible right off the bat. So here you have it. The focus for this and coming builds has been early game polish. A task which isn't always exciting for people interested in our development, and it's also not a quick process. Sometimes the last 10% of a feature can take just as long as the first 90%. We've made major changes to our quick guide and in-game introduction. We've added the ability to swim, finally, and we totally reworked the game chat system. We've added a hardcore and normal gameplay setting to allow those who wish to play a bit more casual and spawn at home. The game is starting to really shape up, and we've relied greatly on your feedback, and thank you for continuing to provide it. Have a good playthrough here with 1.10 and get back to us as soon as you can with some more feedback. Now, I completely agree with them. The introduction system needed some tweaks. The game is very hard to get into from the start, so I'm glad that they've done that. It's very nice, it looks cool, it's simple, and it will help a lot of new players so much. Another thing before we continue, the game is actually on sale. I think it's 60% off at the moment. So if you haven't tried it out, now's the perfect time. Go check it out. So swimming. We are terribly sorry. That's the best way to start after having tested the swimming implementation. Wow, it was definitely needed. It really brings the world to life, not having to constantly worry about death when you're near water. Andre spent the week adding all the finishing touches to the swimming mechanic. Proxy animations have been added so you don't look like Jason Voorhees walking across Crystal Lake anymore. Stamina now affects how far you can swim before you start sinking, so don't go thinking you can swim right off the map. Players will be able to freely dive for quite a few seconds before taking damage to drowning. Underwater caches perhaps? You'll receive warning gulps before drowning to alert you to make your way to the surface. Now it's time to start thinking about boats and fishing. Something I am incredibly excited for. We definitely need more ways to survive off the land. Obviously, in an update not too long ago, they added all the seeds and all that kind of stuff. We've got deers, chickens, foxes. But I think swimming and snares and loads of other sort of traps and just ways to interact with the wildlife is going to bring the game to life so much more. And I know there's plans for things like that to come a little bit down the line, which is good. So chat improvements is our next little update to go through. And as you know, in-game text chat at times can be useless. There's a good amount of issues with the current system, enough to require a total rework. The chat in-game now is dark, the text is hard to read, and there is a good deal of console information clustering it up. The system doesn't match the inspec style and just doesn't provide a good experience. We've introduced a new chat and think it will work for us much better. We've introduced gradient style background and matching that of our inspec menu and coming help system. The system will be sleeker while at the same time being clearer to use. We'll be removing console clutter as well. Information like JT has joined the server will now display in a small notification area on the top left side of the screen. Which is brilliant. We like that. It's a simple fix, but it really stands out and it makes the game, especially when you're playing with a group of people, just look and feel a little bit better. The old sort of booklet style, like we have with the bugger. I forgot what he called the inventory. That's the word I'm looking for. Very sorry, I'm frazzled. Like with the inventory, but this is going to look so much better, and I like that. I really do like it. Next, two very, very cool points, which I am a big fan of, and that is game modes and setting your home. For a very long time now, many of you have requested a home feature. Coming in 1.10, this is possible. The game foundation is changing slightly. With much consideration, we've decided to try and provide a game mode for all players. We'll be introducing two gameplay modes as standard and hardcore. Those that want a more casual experience will find the standard mode's ability to set home dramatically changes gameplay in a lot of ways. Survive the Nights was always meant to be a hardcore survival game. On the other side of that coin, setting a spawn point inside a structure allows you and your friends to jump right back into the action. The player will now be able to walk into any structure in the game, find themselves some cloth, craft a sleeping bag, and place it on the ground inside the structure. Doing this will provide a notification in your top left-hand corner informing the player that a home has been set. Your friends will also be able to set homes in the same structure. In many ways, this is the start of a group system that we'll be fleshing out in the future. This changes the gameplay for sure, allowing rapid respawns and getting right back into the killing the Night's Horde or Onslaught. This, in many ways, is what we originally wanted for Survive the Nights. A good chunk of the game is based on our experience with Call of Duty's A World It Was Nazi zombie map. We were completely addicted to the action and the idea of holding down a structure. There are quite a few more changes to both modes that we will list below. Hardcore mode will provide harder zombie hordes, no ability to set home, and reflects what we have running on our current official servers. Hardcore mode will allow for more zombies to be alive at the same time. This is something that wasn't possible before. A lot more has gone into this, and James will cover it nicely in an upcoming devlog. We hope to have an experimental build out in the near future where a good deal of testing is needed here. So for the changes and the fixes, the hordes will now start an hour later than before. Lower difficulty hordes no longer start later than more difficult hordes. This makes playing with friends easier when you have mixed horde levels, and homes will now show up on the map and via the inspect menu compass. Horde arrival window is now reduced from 0 to 4 hours to 0 to 3 hours. Hordes will arrive later, but arriving hordes won't take as long to get to you. Spawn at home or near death options added on death. So that's quite a few little things. I'm pretty sure the bit I did just go into about a devlog and testing, that is taken from another devlog. So I don't think it will need testing. Confused myself a little bit there, but yeah, never mind. So compass improvements. Currently in game, you've got two compass options: a DIY compass that you can craft a few bits, and a found compass. The only difference between the two currently is speed at which your position is displayed. The DIY compass is far slower than the one you can find in the world. When the player opens the maps, the compass takes time to calibrate, and the time it takes is the difference between the two. The system works and is pretty unique, but it's not very intuitive, and for the most part takes too much time and effort. We've decided to implement a new compass system when the player finds a compass in the world or crafts one, and they'll be able to see their position on the inspect menu. Currently the inspection menu is defaulted to F. It's the menu that comes up when you want to inspect anything on your person or your stats, and you'll be able to see the direction of your home and approaching hordes. So there are a lot of little improvements around things like that, compasses and maps, which is nice. I think the map and compasses needed a little bit of a rework for a long time, so it's good that they're doing that. Like they said at the start, and like many people have said, these fixes they're not always the greatest content-wise, so there's not always much there to actually do and play with, but they help the game and they make the game so much better, so they are needed. So map improvements have been made, and Andre has improved visuals and mechanics. Below is a snippet of changes from our changelog, and the good chunks have been made. Player position is now a blue arrow which matches rotation of player. Player position ping animation improved, and player position increases in size when zooming out, so it's easier to see. Zooming should now go to where the cursor is pointing. Movement is smoothed out when zooming in and out. Remove the needed to scroll 8 times to fully zoom in. It should now only be 2 to 3 times. Panning is now more responsive, and removed extremely long elastic movement effect. Updated the look of the map border to match the new UI, and fonts changed to American typewriter. Improved resolutions of text, and added a stationary directional symbol to show where north is. Beautiful. We like that. New map, all that funky stuff. So next up is a very big part that I've been excited for, and that is new animation. And the improvements are very cool. I like it. It's amazing. So part of the QOL improvements and general game improvements we are focusing on is fluidity. Weapon animation speeds was something that needed addressing. John has spent the week tweaking and changing animations and animation speeds. He's been reloading animations 1.5 times faster than they've been in the past across the board. You'll also notice a new last round and partial clip reload animation. There have been a load animation improvements in 1.0, and we will continue to improve them across the board as we move further through development. Which we like. I love that. I mean, the timings, everything's improved. I mean, some things have shaved like 4 seconds off, so it's good. It's good. For cleaning speeds, that is. Obviously, the reload animations, the animations have changed. There's a little bit of a speed up there, but with the clean times, so much better. I mean, the old ARG was 15 seconds. It's now 9, so much better. Next up, we got zombie fixes. Looking through player-created tickets, we've noticed and have personally run into zombie stuff issues. This occurs a lot around intersections and complicated world areas. The majority of the issue was due to an AI vision check being reversed. That has now been sorted and seems to have fixed the issue during internal testing. Perfect, and if you have any further issues like this in 1.10, please share with the team as soon as possible. Now we've got player relevancy. Some of you surely experience relevancy issues. As an example, you and your friend are playing and you can't see your friend, but they can see you. This issue has persisted in builds for some time and has been a nightmare to pin down. James has spent some time this week altering the scope of our network backend while hopefully fixing potential culling issues. This, we feel, should greatly improve the stability of player position relevancy and hopefully sort the majority of our issues there. Survive the Nights is a beast of a project for a small team like ours, especially when it's your first. Unity is a fantastic engine and has allowed us to bring our vision to light. However, it is not a total answer. When we started development, Unity didn't have a network solution, so we obviously needed one as we're making a multiplayer game. Our choice at the time was a rather popular asset called Ulink. Ulink allowed us to network the game and get the ball rolling when it comes to extended multiplayer development. The team behind Ulink has since moved on, and we now have access to the source code. This has allowed us to expand on the asset and make tweaks specifically tailored to Survive the Nights. As mentioned above, we are hoping that these tweaks made to the source will fix player relevancy issues. At the very least, the tweaks made for 1.10 will allow us to move forward with greater confidence that the issue lies higher up in our code rather than an issue with Ulink. So that's great. I like that they've explained that. That's one thing that I love about these guys. If there is an issue, I don't understand it. I'm sure some people that are watching do, and some others really don't. But it's great that they actually give you that explanation for the people that are really interested in the codey parts and the development parts like that. I love that they give that explanation. It's really, really good. It goes right over my head, but I like that it's there. I don't understand it, but it's cool. It's there. You know, I can waffle on and pretend I know what I'm doing. It's the key of life, right? Just pretend we know what we're doing and hope that it goes well. It's crafting and nutritional changes. As you know, we're working through quality of life issues. We've set to dedicate a good chunk of coming updates to improving core mechanics. This includes early game improvements. Crafting and nutrition is something that we're going to be having a good look over. We've started adjusting workbench requirements, adjusting hydration levels to canned goods, along with adding and removing some recipes. We've removed the workbench requirements for fortification materials. We feel like this really impeded the flow of crafting. You no longer need to find a workbench to craft materials needed for a fortification, only the fortification itself. So this will allow a player to be ready to craft fortifications when benches are found, rather than first having to craft all the materials for it. So they've removed the workbench requirements on plywood, plywood reinforced metal planks and sheet metal. So that's much easier, so everybody can just build what they want up until it comes to the actual point of building the final part. Brilliant. You don't have to go to the workbench and carry loads of random stuff around with you to craft loads of stuff to then have loads more space in your inventory to then craft something when you could have just crafted all of those items as you found them and saved yourself a load of weight. But the crafting changes are, we've also altered scrap requirements of steel pipes from 5 to 3 scrap metal, and we've made drop changes with these tweaks in preparation for the coming compass and home improvements. We've also moved away from the dual compass setup. You will no longer find the DIY compass recipe in the crafting list. This has been replaced with the recipe for just a standard compass. So this will simplify things and remove confusion. Also, we're going to be fleshing out the new sleeping bag system, and James is going to go over it with the 1.10 Devlog. We've re-added the ability to craft a sleeping bag in 1.10. As this item, you'll be able to place it and set your home to be exactly where you respawn. If you have any crafting change suggestions, please feel free to share them with the team via a suggestion ticket in F1 in the game. So, for nutritional changes, we've decreased the hydration rate of all canned goods to make water harvesting more realistic. Some of our canned goods now give players more than 50% of their daily requirements for hydration. This is no longer the case. Most cans will now provide 2 to 3% of your daily requirement. This is just enough to save you from taking damage should you need a can in an emergency. Brilliant. We like that. We like that. And then, in summary, a lot of these changes are in a long line of planned early game changes. The core of our project is rather impressive, and we've got a solid foundation to work on and small tweaks and improvements to be made. They're going to be what sets STN apart from others in the genre. Our goal is to focus our efforts on early game improvements for the time being, improving before adding. That doesn't mean that we don't have grand schemes and plans for the project. There's still quite a bit to add, and a lot of what we're adding and tweaking will now allow for that. Brilliant. We like that. We like that a lot. So also, there's one more little thing which is really, really cool. And then it's the patch notes, which the patch notes are absolutely insane. If it was A4 sheets, there'd be about 6, 7. So I'm not going to go through every single one of those. What I'm going to do is leave the link down below to the changelog and all that, so you can go check out the patch notes for 1.10 yourself if you want to. But we have covered the main bulk, and you'll be able to see the main bulk in the background there. So the last chance system. Adjustments have been made to player damage, and James has added a last chance based system. What this translates to in game is that the damage being clamped down to 1. If you take a hit with 10 health left, you won't die. You'll be taken down to 1 health, allowing for 1 more second to fight or flee. If it feels right, we found ourselves feeling lucky taking that dead with 1 health and left it making out of a sticky situation. Of course, this doesn't always guarantee your safety. Let's face it, you're not going to last long with 1 health, but a wise survivor always carries a few bandages. So, that's great. I like that. That's very good. There's a lot of useful points in there. A lot of new bits to focus on and new bits to get stuck on. Once again, on Monday, what we'll be doing is going into that very deeply, and I'm going to be discussing things. And I think I'll go off a few of the quality of life fixes and the actual patch notes, like the in-depth parts, and we'll find every little thing that we can, and we'll have a little look and see what we can do and go through it. And then I'm pretty sure that the week after that, we will restart our hardcore survival series. Now hardcore is ready to go, and we'll see if we can get to day 20 without dying, if that sounds good to you guys. But for today, ladies and gents, if you've liked the video, make sure you drop a like on it. If you've enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel, and if you haven't liked it, double tap the dislike button just so I know. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.